Making headlines this hour, President reaffirms Maldives' enduring commitment to unity, resilience and progress in his speech given on the occasion of Commonwealth Day. First shipment of Maldives' donation of 2 million canned tuna has reached Gaza. And MACL and authorities discuss possible increase in airport traffic flow once the new international terminal opens at VIA.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Dham Naeem. President Dr. Mohammad Moise reaffirms the Maldives' enduring commitment to unity, resilience and progress in his message marking Commonwealth Day observed globally today.
In his message, President Dr. Moise highlighted this year's Commonwealth Day theme, Together We Thrive, to underscore the nation's steadfast dedication to these principles. Dr. Moise also highlighted the increase in prevalence of global conflict and inequality, asserting that during such challenging times, we should stand together as a testament to the power of collective action within the Commonwealth, not just to survive, but to thrive. The President's message also underscored the collective strength inherent in the unity of the Commonwealth family. The President added that unity is not merely a concept, it is the dynamic force which drives collaboration and empowers our communities to address our shared challenges. Acknowledging the persistent efforts by the Commonwealth, President Dr. Moise commended its advocacy for promoting the interests of small island states like the Maldives. These efforts include climate resilience, access to finance, women empowerment, youth development. President Moise reiterated the commitment to the principles of democracy, human rights, good governance and sustainable development enshrined in the Commonwealth Charter. President also praised the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting held last year in Samoa. He described the meeting as a testament to our commitment to unity and cooperation, stressing the importance of action. He added it is imperative that we work together to translate that outcomes of the meeting into tangible action. In closing, President Dr. Moise assured that the Maldives is prepared to strengthen its partnership with the Commonwealth and its member states to ensure a future where every Commonwealth citizen thrives. Commonwealth Day, observed on the second Monday in March each year, provides an opportunity to celebrate the shared values and principles of the Commonwealth, such as peace, justice and sustainable development. It also serves as a reminder of the historical and cultural ties that bind the member countries together. The Commonwealth of Nations, also known as Commonwealth, is a voluntary association of 56 independent and sovereign states, most of which were formerly territories of the British Empire.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Abdullah Khalil revealed that the first shipment of Maldives, a donation of 2 million canned tuna, has reached Gaza.
In a written response to a query from an opposition lawmaker over the delay in implementing the government's decision to ban Israeli passport holders from entering the island nation, Minister Khalil pointed out that the country's immigration laws need to be revised in order to implement the ban. He also pointed out that the decision is currently being reviewed by the Parliamentary Security Services Committee and the ban will be put into effect once the law is revised. In his response, the minister highlighted the proactive role Maldives continues to play in the international arena, advocating for the rights of Palestine and to put a stop to the atrocities being committed by Israel. Minister Dr. Khalil also said that Maldives has continued to advocate for the legitimate rights of Palestinian people through the establishment of an independent and sovereign state of Palestine based on the pre-1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. According to the minister, Maldives supported South Africa's application to the International Court of Justice ICJ against Israel, submitting a declaration of intervention last year. Additionally, on December 19, 2024, Maldives co-sponsored a United Nations General Assembly resolution seeking an advisory opinion for the ICJ regarding Israel's responsibilities in facilitating humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian people. Minister Dr. Khalil also noted that Maldives' annual contribution to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, for Palestine refugees has been increased to $5,000 by this administration. He added that in addition to the $1.2 million in proceeds from the Maldives with Palestine telethon handed over to UNRWA, the first shipment of the canned tuna donations has now reached Gaza. In that regard, the first shipment of 374,400 canned tuna was delivered to Gaza on 12 February through the Egyptian Red Crescent. The minister assured that the Maldives will continue to provide assistance and advocate for the rights of the Palestinian people in the future.
Discussions have been held regarding potential airport traffic flow following the upcoming opening of the new international passenger terminal at Welana International Airport, VIA. The discussions took place between the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation and Maldives Airports Company Limited, MACL, which operates VIA. According to the Transport Ministry, the meeting with MACL officials discussed changes to the taxi queues and changes in the routes for taxis and four-wheelers. The meeting also on the designated parking area for additional vehicles and the use of newly planned roundabout in the area. The new international passenger terminal, which will be equipped with modern services and facilities, is now nearing completion. The final operations to bring the terminal into operation are now underway. In his presidential statement at this year's opening session for the Parliament, President Dr. Mohamed Moise announced that the new terminal will be opened before October this year. The existing international terminal at VIA has the capacity to cater to 1.5 million passengers annually. However, the new 78,000 square meter terminal will be developed to accommodate up to 7 million passengers annually. The Maldives welcomed more than 570 visitors on 8th March with the arrival of the cruise ships MS Insignia from the Seychelles. The arrival of the cruise ship highlights the country's strong appeal for cruise travelers, with numerous liners making stops in the archipelago each year. The MS Insignia brought 576 tourists and 406 crew members to the Maldivian shores. Recognizing the sector's importance to the economy, the current administration has intensified efforts to strengthen cruise ship tourism. To facilitate this growth, the government has embarked on developing 3 specialized harbors across different regions to accommodate cruise ships. The Maldives Association of Yacht Agents, MAYA, an organization responsible for overseeing yacht-related activities in the country, has announced that 12 cruise ships are scheduled to visit the country this year. With the government's focus on increasing cruise ship tourism, overall tourist arrival in the Maldives have continued to rise. According to the Ministry of Tourism and Environment, the nation has welcomed over 481,000 visitors so far this year, reflecting a positive trend in the tourism growth. State-owned utility firm State Electric Company Limited, Stelco, has awarded the contract to establish fuel storage tanks in Hulumale Phase 1 to Maldives Transport and Contracting Company, MTCC. Stelco said that the new storage tanks will boost its capacity to cater to increased demand during peak hours. Managing Director Hussein Fahmi signed the agreement on behalf of Stelco, while Managing Director retired Deputy Commissioner of Police Ahmad Saudi signed for MTCC. Under the agreement, 2 80,000-litre fuel storage tanks will be established in Hulumale. Stelco has established a temporary power station in Hulumale to ensure sustainable electricity to the growing population in the Greater Male area. The project will install 13 generators and add a total of 17 megawatts of electricity capacity to the grid. Maldives, currently in its hottest season, has led to a gradual increase in electricity consumption. Currently, the peak hour electricity consumption in the Male is 98 megawatts, with Stelco expecting the number to increase in the coming weeks to 120 megawatts. However, Stelco had said the newly established 17 megawatt temporary power station will be able to manage the additional load. China's housing minister says the country's property sector is showing positive changes and market confidence is improving as policymakers try to set a more optimistic tone for the economy this year in the face of mounting U.S. trade pressure.
At a press conference on the sidelines of an annual parliament meeting in Beijing, Housing Minister Ni Hong said that since January and February, the real estate market maintained a positive trend of stopping declines and returning to stabilization. The comments came after several tough years for the once high-flying real estate sector, with property investments slumping the most on record last year and property sales and new construction falling at a double-digit pace, weighing heavily on economic growth. China will not release early 2025 figures for housing sales and starts until March 17th, but analysts at Nomura said in a recent note that sales and prices early this year were holding up better than expected in China's biggest cities. Still, analysts polled by Reuters last month expect home prices to drop further this year and do not expect a market recovery until 2026.
Syria's leader vows to hunt down the perpetrators of violent clashes pitting loyalists of deposed President Bashar al-Assad against the country's new Islamist rulers and said he would hold to account anyone who overstepped their authority.
In a speech broadcast on national television and posted on social media, Ahmad Shara, whose rebel movement toppled Assad in December, accused Assad loyalists and foreign powers that he did not name of trying to foment unrest. The clashes, which a war monitoring group said had already killed 1,000 people, mostly civilians, continued for a fourth day in Assad's coastal heartland. The top commander of a Syrian Kurdish armed group, whose forces are in a separate battle with Turkey, had earlier blamed Turkish-backed Islamist factions for some of the most disturbing violence, the reported executions of civilians belonging to Assad's Alawite sect. Turkey did not immediately respond to the allegation. Shara's office said it was forming an independent committee to investigate the clashes and killings by both sides. Syrians have circulated graphic videos of executions by fighters. Reuters could not immediately verify the videos. A Syrian security source earlier said the pace of fighting had slowed around the cities of Latakia, Jabla, and Banyas, while forces searched surrounding mountainous areas where an estimated 5,000 pro-Assad insurgents were hiding. Rebels led by Shara's Sunni Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group ousted Assad's government at the end of 2024. Assad fled to Russia, leaving behind some of his closest advisors and supporters, while Shara's group led the appointment of an interim government and took over Syria's armed forces. Assad's overthrow ended decades of dynastic rule by his family, marked by severe repression and a devastating civil war that began as a peaceful uprising in 2011. The war, in which Western countries, Arab states, and Turkey backed rebels, while Russia, Iran, and militias loyal to Tehran backed Assad, became a theater for proxy conflicts among a kaleidoscope of armed factions with different loyalties and agendas. It has killed hundreds of thousands of people and displaced millions of Syrians. Since Assad's overthrow, Turkish-backed groups have clashed with Kurdish forces that control much of northeastern Syria. Sources have told Reuters that Israel has separately struck military sites in Syria and is lobbying the U.S. to keep Syria weak.
Former central banker Mark Carney wins the race to become leader of Canada's ruling Liberal Party and will succeed Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister.
Carney will take over at a tumultuous time in Canada, which is in the midst of a trade war with longtime ally the United States under President Donald Trump and must hold a general election soon. Carney, 59, took 86% of votes cast to beat former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland in a contest in which just under 152,000 party members voted.
There's someone who's trying to do the opposite. There's someone who's trying to weaken our economy. Yeah, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as we know, has put, as the Prime Minister just said, unjustified tariffs on what we build, on what we sell, on how we make a living. He's attacking Canadian families, workers, and businesses. And we cannot let him succeed. And we won't. We won't.
Trudeau announced in January that he would step down after more than 9 years in power as his approval rating plummeted, forcing the ruling Liberal Party to run a quick contest to replace him. Carney, a political novice, argued that he was best placed to revive the party and to oversee trade negotiations with Trump, who is threatening additional tariffs that could cripple Canada's export-dependent economy. Trudeau has imposed 30 billion Canadian dollars of retaliatory tariffs on the United States in response to tariffs Trump levied on Canada.
My government will put into action our plan to build a stronger economy, to create new trading relationships with reliable trading partners, and to secure our borders.
Carney's win marks the first time an outsider with no real political background has become Canadian Prime Minister. He has said his experience as the first person to serve as the governor of two G7 central banks, Canada and England, meant he was the best candidate to deal with Trump.
The Americans want our resources, our water, our land, our country. Think about it. If they succeeded, they would destroy our way of life. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right.
The prospect of a fresh start for the Liberal Party under Carney, combined with Trump's tariffs and his repeated taunts to annex Canada as the 51st U.S. state, led to a remarkable revival of Liberal fortunes. At the start of 2025, the party trailed by 20 or more points, but is now statistically tied with the official opposition Conservatives, led by career politician Pierre Poilievre in several polls.
2023 champion Elena Rybakina powers past Britain's Katie Bolter 6-0, 7-5, and Russian teenager Mira Andreeva eased past Clara Towson 6-3, 6-0 in third round action at Indian Wells.
After cruising through the first set, Rybakina fell behind 5-3 in the second before regrouping. She stretched to hit a sensational defensive shot in a game where she broke back for 5-5 and broke again on match point to seal the win. Rybakina, who missed last year's tournament due to an illness, will now play 9th seed Andreeva.
6-love, 7-5.
In other action, Ukrainian Elena Svitolina upset 14th seed Danielle Collins 6-2 and 6-4 and will face another American, 4th seed Jessica Pegula, in the next round after she breezed past China's Wang Jinyu 6-2 and 6-1. Svitolina's countrywoman Marta Kostyuk beat American wildcard Caroline Dolehide 6-3 and 6-3. The only late women's match will see China's Zhen Qinwen take on New Zealander Lulu Sun.
In a crowded slum in India's western Gujarat state, workers rush to paint hundreds of tin roofs with white paints as the hottest time of year approaches. The new makeover, which involves 400 households in the Gujarat's largest city of Ahmedabad, is being done as part of efforts to keep houses in the area cool under the increasingly hot temperatures of Gujarat's summer, now being amplified by climate change, which in recent years have run up to 46 degrees Celsius.
The effort is also tied to a global scientific trial to study how indoor heat impacts people's health and economic outcomes in developing countries, and how cool roofs might ease the burden.
So we want to do a trial and a scientific study known as a randomized controlled trial, where we have an entire community and half of the community are assigned a cool roof and half are not. And then we want to track a whole range of outcomes, including health and indoor environment outcomes. And we want to know what the effect of reducing the indoor temperature is on these outcomes.
By painting roofs with a white coating that contains highly reflective pigments such as titanium dioxide, Bunker and her team are sending more of the sun's radiation back to the atmosphere and preventing it from being absorbed. The crowded Vanzara Vas slum, which is composed of more than 2,000 mostly tiny, airless one-room dwellings, was among the districts selected for the project. Local resident Suman Pravin Vanzara, whose roof was painted white in mid-January, said she was already noticing a difference. Before the painting project, which started in early January, some of the residents selected for the study said they would cover their roofs with plastic sheets and spread grass on them to provide some relief from the unbearable heat. The trial in Ahmedabad will run for 1 year, with scientists collecting health and indoor environment data from residents living under a cool roof and those without. Across the world, heat waves that once had a 1 in 10 chance of occurring in any given year prior to the Industrial Revolution are now nearly 3 times as likely and 1.2 degrees Celsius or 2.2 degrees Fahrenheit warmer, according to a 2022 study in the journal Environmental Research Letters. Other study sites include those in Burkina Faso, Mexico, and the island of Niue in the South Pacific, which reflect a variety of building materials and climates. Early results from the Burkina Faso trial show that cool roofs were able to reduce indoor temperature by between 1.2 degrees Celsius or 2.2 degrees Fahrenheit in tin and mud-roofed homes, and 1.7 degrees Celsius in tin roof homes over 2 years, which subsequently lowered residents' heart rates.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.
ಬರಕಾತೆರೆ ರಮಲಾ ಮಹುಗೆ ಹೇ ಒಯ್ದುಮಾತ ಹುನಿಯಾ ಟಿವಿ ಬಲ್ಲವಾ ಲೋಬಿತಿ ರೈತುನಂ ಅರಿಸ್ಕುರಂ
شهر رمضان الذي